In this video, we're going to go over using the management console to create buckets and move data into our buckets. Now you can think of a bucket as a storage area, and you can create as many as you want. Now there are some things about buckets you should know. Now the thing about buckets is they have to have a unique name across the whole Amazon network. So if you tried to use a bucket called images, it's likely somebody has already used that bucket name. Okay, so what you want to do is come up with your naming convention. I usually like to put a couple of letters on the front of all my buckets, and then I can name them behind that. So if you click here where it says actions, you do create bucket. Okay, now here you can give it a bucket name, and this is the region where your different servers are located. So you should pick the closest one to you. I'm just going to use US standard here. So here you give it your bucket name. Now there are some rules for bucket names as well. You cannot have capital letters in a bucket. They have to be all lowercase. You cannot use underscores. They have to be named 3 to 63 characters. So it has to be 3 to 63 characters long to be valid. And you can't end it with a dash. Okay, so what I like to do is come up with a naming convention. Say that these buckets are going to be for a certain site. We'll call it glob. Okay, so I'm going to name all of my buckets glob dash, and then I can name them something meaningful behind it. So I'll do glob dash images, and I'll create the bucket. Okay, so there I have a bucket called glob-images. Okay, I can go and create another one now. I'm going to do glob-videos. Now remember, I'm doing this because it's likely videos and images are already going to be taken. So I'm going to create this bucket like this. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that. That'll keep your own buckets organized, and you won't have to worry about duplicate bucket names. Okay, now buckets are our storage area. So what we can do now is we can upload our files into these buckets. We can also create a folder within the buckets, and then we have some other actions here. Okay, now some of these aren't going to be available until we actually get some files up here. So let's go to glob images. And let's upload an image into here. So click on upload. Now, here you have where you can add the files, you can remove selected files, and you can enable the enhanced uploader. So add files is going to just upload individual files, and they can be up to 5 terabytes. The enhanced uploader allows you to upload an entire folder. So let's go here. And as it says here, it can take up to 2 minutes depending on your connection speed. Okay, so we're going to verify the application. Okay, now we can click Add Items. And it brings up a window where we can pick through our files. Okay, and then you can navigate through just like a normal Windows window here. You just navigate to where you want to be. Okay, so let's go in here and let's upload something. Let's upload a folder here. Okay, so this is now going to upload a whole folder for us. Now notice at the bottom here you can set the details, and you can use reduced redundancy storage and server-side encryption. So reduced redundancy is cheaper because it is using less resources, and you have a 99.99% uptime rather than 100%. So it's a little bit less secure, but not much. So you need to decide if the data is duplicatable, like if you have it somewhere else, or if you need the regular storage. So I'm going to use reduced redundancy. This also saves you money on storage costs. And of course, server-side encryption is self-explanatory. You can just encrypt your files on the server. Okay, Now, here we can set the permissions. So you can grant me full control or make everything public. Now we can also do this later. I'm just going to leave it the way it is here. And we're going to go start the upload. Okay, so now what this is going to do is it's going to upload all of the pictures in that folder into the bucket. So we'll just wait for that to happen. And you can see at the bottom here under transfers what it is doing and the speed and so on, how much is done here. Okay, so now this is done. So we have our bucket. Inside our bucket we have our folder, and then if we double click on our folder, we have the folder, the same structure that, of course, that we had on our computer, and inside here we have all of our pictures that we've uploaded. Okay, so what we can do is let's go, if you click up here you can navigate backwards. Now if you click on this you'll see that we can go to actions now, and we have different things we can do. Okay, so when I click properties, you see down here we can change the storage redundancy down here. If we don't do anything, it stays the same, and server-side encryption. So those were the things that we've already specified when we uploaded it. So you can open, you can create another folder, you can upload, make it public. And so when you make it public, you'll be able to get a URL to the objects in there, and you will be able to share it on other websites. And we're going to get to that a little bit later. Of course, delete, cut, copy. Okay, now let's just click over here now. And you'll see that we now have the statistics or the properties on the bucket. Okay, now, so we have our permissions. This is us. We can list, we can upload and delete, and we can view the permissions. We can add more permissions, we can remove selected permissions, and we can add a bucket policy. Bucket policy involves coding, and we're not going to go into bucket policy. Here, website. You can turn this into a static website just by uploading all of your files into there. And then you can turn this on, you give it the index document, error document, and then you have a website. And we're going to go over that a little bit later. Logging, whether you want to enable the logging onto another bucket. Notifications. This just tells you that some data has been lost out of this bucket. And then you got lifecycle, which you can give it rules when you want the data to go away. Okay, so it's just how you want your data stored. Okay, now let's go back to permissions here. Let's go to add more permissions. Okay, now if we go to grantee and click here, we can grant everyone, authenticated users, and me, and of course what we've already got here, different permissions, list, upload, list and upload. So if we want to give some other person some access to the bucket to do these particular tasks, this is where we can do that. Okay, let's cancel that. Now, if we go back up here, you can also click right on the folder, and if you right click on it, you got the different things you can do here. Now let's make this folder public. Okay, it asks us if we're sure. We're going to say yes. Now, this particular folder can now be seen by the public if they have the proper URL. This allows us to put the content within this bucket and folder onto a website now. Okay, let's go inside this folder. Okay, and then you see here there's the other things we have: storage, reduced redundancy, and server-side encryption. Now we go to permissions. Now you see, since we've made it public, we have two different things in here. We have us, and we can open, download, view, and other things. And with everyone, we can open and download. Okay, they can't view the permissions or do anything else. Metadata, this is just the metadata showing for what the value is for this particular thing. So the content type is a JPEG image. It's just showing you what it is. Now that it's public, we now have a link to this image right here. So if we give out this link, or we use it in our HTML document as an image source, this is what will happen. It'll bring up the image right in the browser or on the website where we're including it. Okay, so that's how you can access the data once you make it public. Okay, now let's talk about website. Remember I showed you before. Let's go to Glob Videos here, and let's go to Properties. And you'll see here we have Website. So here we could create a website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload an entire Camtasia video. Now, the reason I'm going to use Camtasia is because I've created a Flash video and it has several parts along with a file that brings it all together, an index file. So I can just do that way. But I could use any file and I could make an index file that points to it and make a website out of it. Just any static website would do. In fact, I could upload a squeeze page into here and do the same thing. But since this is a video folder, I'm going to upload a video into here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and upload. So we'll do upload. And then we're going to add items, and then we're going to upload a whole folder. Okay, so I'm going to upload all of these files here. So I'm just going to hold my control key down, and then I'm going to upload them all right into there. Okay, so let's just, well, we can set the details here. We're going to use reduced redundancy. Set the permissions. We're going to make everything public. And then we're going to start the upload. Okay, so now this is going to upload all of those files for us, and then we're going to make a website out of it. So we'll just let those upload. Okay, so now everything is uploaded here. So let's go over here. Let's right click and go to Properties. Let's go to Website. We're going to enable the website, and then our index document is going to be the HTML document. So it's underscore, click here, .html. Okay, I'm not going to put an error document in. Okay, we're going to save. Okay, now this is our website. So if we click on that, there it comes. There is our Camtasia video playing in our browser off of the S3 service. Okay, so you click play and you'll see that it goes. There it is. Okay, so that's how you can create a static website on Amazon S3. And like I said, it can be anything. In this case, this is a video that is created in Flash by Camtasia Studio and attached to an HTML file. But you could just as easily upload one of your squeeze pages and then get the URL to that, and then do the same thing and make your bucket a website. Okay, now you notice I clicked on, this is the document we're opening, the click here one. So this is also a link to that particular document. Okay, so if I click on this, I'm going to go to the same spot, as you see here. Now, when we look at permissions, you'll see, remember when we uploaded the folders, we set the permissions so everyone could look at the files that we put up there. Okay, so that's how you can host static pages within your buckets. Okay, so that's how you can use the S3 console to manage your files. In the next video, we're going to go over Cloudberry Explorer, and I'm going to show you how to use that to manage your data on your Amazon S3 account.